Welcome to That 80s Show, and I am with the person that puts the Alice Cooper in recuperation. Did that work, Dori?
No. How long did you work on that one? My goodness.
A week actually. It's, sometimes I just say the first thing comes into my head. That one I worked on and didn't land, right?
I'll accept.
Okay.
I'll allow.
Good, Dori accepts. Why did I say that? Because poor Dori, if you missed last week's show and you missed the previous shows, which we all missed, Dori has done herself an accident, and she is gladly, I'm very happy to hear, recuperating, getting way better, able to drive, able to walk, able to dance yet, Dori?
I mean, like a goth dance where you don't move much, maybe. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not full on locomotioning yet.
Definitely not.
No, it's just kind of motion and less loco. This is 80 Show. Everything you're going to hear in today's show, you can find on That 80 Show essay on Facebook. And we're going to start off the show with shameless plug. Vote for me, vote for me, vote for us. That's what we're saying as we start off That 80 Show. Dori, congratulations to you.
And to you.
Congratulations to our listeners, because you listen and you push us to be better. We are the reigning African Podcast Association Music Podcast of the Year. And the nominations for this year came out, and we're back in there. But it's tough this year. Oh, very tough.
It's so tough. It's so tough. We're really going to need all the troops together.
Like, I looked at that list. I was like, oh my word, this is like, because now, the thing is, we're there to be shot at, right? It's easy getting to the top.
Yeah.
Staying there. I mean, how many bands spent 1 week at number one? 1 week. We don't want to be that band. How many?
We don't want to be a one-hit wonder.
No. Oh God, don't you imagine that? Although I think maybe that's what we see how much we love one-hit wonders.
We'll live with it.
No, but I don't want it. I want to be a multiple. We want to be Queen. We want to be Wham, where every single song that comes off an album is number one. Iconic. We want to be Milli Vanilli. It doesn't matter if it's not us. We've got number ones. We've got Grammys. Not giving it back. So it is the African Podcast and Voiceover Association 2024 awards, and you can help us because there is a judges portion, but there is also a fan vote portion, and that makes up 30%, and you can vote for us and help us become and defend our title, because it's your title. Like, just understand this. If someone takes our title, they're taking your title, and they're saying, you know what, you don't have good taste in podcasts. You listen to second-rate podcasts. I'm not saying that. The people are saying that.
Sure.
They're saying that to our people.
Did you ever consider going into politics?
Oh, I could, because this isn't going to be a government of national podcasting. No, we're not sharing. No. Okay, we want outright. There's no sharing here. Okay, so what you got to do is in the show notes, we're going to put a vote link. You just go in there. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a few steps in there. It's not just like click. There's a few steps.
It's not that bad. I did it.
It's not that bad.
You go to the Facebook page. There's literally a link. You click on the link. You put in your email address. You tick that 80 show. You're done.
Okay.
So it's a few steps, but they're very easy steps.
They're very easy. It's a very easy website to use. So you just in our show notes, whether you're listening, wherever you're listening on this, we are on YouTube or on the Facebook page. You pin it on the Facebook page. Just go there, click the link. It'll take you straight to the music section. It should, I think. And then just click That 80 Show.
Yes.
And then you vote it. And then you're going to do it tomorrow and the next day and the next, because multiple votes. You can vote 1 million times if you want, as you should.
And as many different emails as you have, that's how many times you can vote multiple times as well.
I don't even think you need that.
All the email addresses.
I don't even think you need that.
Do you think they just let you vote over and over?
Yeah. And because I've voted over and over, I've probably voted 100 times for us. I think I should have said that.
Shameless.
I think I should have said that. But listen, I think the important thing is,
you should have said that out loud.
You do not want to listen to a second-rate podcast. You do not want to listen to a podcast that was just one of the top 5 No, you want to listen to the best.
Nominated, but not winner.
No, you want to winners. You want to listen to a winner because you're a winner and you make good decisions. So start your week off every morning. Every morning, I think the voting ends on is it end of August or July? Whatever, we'll put the details in the show notes. Vote for us. And I got through that whole campaign, that whole electioneering without someone shooting my ear off. So that's like great. Great for me. Great
well
for
done.
me. Now, Dori, I got to go back to last week's show. Is it a rebuttal? It's a correction. Now, here's the thing, right? We get our information from all over the internet. We as likely to get a article from somewhere like the New York Times or the Guardian as we are to just make it up. I mean, to be honest. Okay.
We make it up less now than we did in the beginning. Because there's so much that's actually real.
Exactly. Because there's kind of been this like nostalgia for the 80s has come back. In between the New York Times and the Guardian and making it up, there is this whole like real gray area where there's a lot of clickbaity websites. You know, the ones where if you scroll down, you see the ads and it's like always like this very close up of this is your belly fat under a microscope or 10 tricks to keep her happy. You know, those websites. Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of that. So it is on one of these websites where I found last week's hilarious story, or a story that allowed me to make hilarious jokes about Tom Selleck and his dry avos. The story goes that Tom Selleck, who was accused of stealing water during a drought, he is sending, or this, as the story said, he was sending water tankers to go collect water to water his avos. He's an avo farmer. He's had an avo farm since 1988. He's doing well. He saw the boom. He went one day, there are going to be people who dress like Where's Wally, grow their beards long, and want smashed avo and sourdough and drink. He knew it.
Every day. Yes.
He saw it. He had this vision in 1988. So he's like, God, he woke up one night. What? What's? I had a nightmare that Ted Danson and Steve Gutenberg tried to get me to do a third 3 men and a baby and a little lady. 3 men and a divorced lady. They tried to get me.
And a grown-up lady.
Yeah, they tried to get me to do it. Oh, thank God that's over. Oh, I had a terrible dream that they did a remake of Magnum in the 2000 teens.
Terrible.
God, that's a terrible nightmare. I hope that doesn't come to pass. What I do hope it comes to pass is avos having their moment, which they did. I'll tell you what bothered me about this story, though. And it didn't bother me so much that it stopped me from making my joke about calling him Magnum GI. For somebody who was doing something that was purportedly so heinous, he only got fined $21,000. Did that stand out to you?
No, I don't even remember that.
Okay, right. You're on medication.
I think I was focusing on his avos as opposed to the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. I attached a picture to the running order. The shorts were very short. The avos were very ripe. I mean, it's the avos. But he's got bulbous avos. Like this is. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, after all this, he only got fined $21,000. I was like, that's weird. But anyway, make a joke, laugh, move on. We got a comment. Right. We got a comment from Miss Sheila 54. Listener to the show, to rectify and tell us the true story. This is phenomenal stuff. This is the first.
Huh.
This is the first.
We have never been challenged on our factoids before.
Oh, no. I mean, Miss Sheila stepped up. She's like, no, I'm going to tell you guys what really happened. And listen how first-hand account Miss Sheila 54 is. So she starts the comment, the Ventura County District Attorney's Office. This is where it happened. The Ventura County District Attorney's Office, where my sister, a lawyer, works, also confirmed that no case has been referred to them for prosecution because the water had already been paid for by his private company that delivered the water. Now, what gets my attention the most in that opening statement there, Dori?
Is that her sister works for the company?
My sister, a lawyer. So I'm like, Miss Sheila, Miss Sheila, yes, whatever you say, I'm telling. I don't want in trouble with American lawyers here.
We don't need no litigation on this show.
No, because I do not have Corbin Burnson on retainer. I do not want to go to night court. Mm-hmm. Okay. So she says that her sister was involved. Like her sister worked at the district attorney's office, but the water had already been paid for. So they weren't stealing water. They only broke state and local rules when they took it from one district, Calaguelas, municipal district, and transported it to Hidden Valley, which is a different water district. So they're in one district. They collected the water there and took it to another one. That $21,000, he only had to pay for the private investigator. The suit ended. Is it suit or suite? Suit? Suit. It's suit.
Suit.
The suit.
Suit.
The sort. The suit. The suit sort. Oh, Mashila 54.
The case. The issue.
Mashila 54. I may replace it with the issue. Sought an end to the deliveries and reimbursement for the $21,685.55 the district paid to a private investigator. Okay, so that's what he had to pay.
Okay.
So she then goes on to say that her sister and her husband also live in the district, and they also received water when the wells were empty. It was always paid directly to the same company. It is unclear whether the Sellecks knew where the water was coming from. They never received a cease and desist letter, as the recipients had to sign it upon receipt. So Tom's clear, okay? No water was being stolen. Water was being accessed legally. It was just, you shouldn't have taken it there. We have a transport issue here, and Tom Selleck didn't have to pay a fine. It was the actual private investigator fee. So that's the true story. Thanks to Mashila 54. Thank you. We joke a lot.
Who knew that story would would get that kind of response? That's incredible.
But that's fantastic. That is fact. That is investigative. That has set us right, and that is why you should vote for us. That's
legally accurate.
Dun, 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 boots closed. Now, you see, normally, in a different climate, I would have played the LA Law music, but I already got the eyes of the lawyers on me. So I don't want to go into copyright
Can't
stuff.
do that.
No.
Nope.
So I just hummed a song that might make you think of LA Law, but that wasn't my intention. So that's great. That is why we deserve to defend our title, because not only are we good, our listeners are better. Lawyers.
They really are.
Right?
They're amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Ms. Sheila 54, thank you so much for setting that story. I feel that's the show. I feel like that is phenomenal stuff. Tom Selleck's name is cleared. His avos are moist and being consumed right now by someone listening to Mumford & Sons.
Do you eat Avo yourself?
I don't mind an Avo, but when I got COVID, after COVID, I can't eat. It's the texture. Just I can't do it. And you an Avo person, as in this new segment on that 80 show?
I love Avo, but they are very expensive. So I eat them sparingly. But the best Avo is a Durban Avo. If anybody I know goes to Durban, I ask them to bring me Avo. Yeah, they're different.
They're the big
different
ones
down there.
They are different. Good
They're
climate.
Amazing. They're amazing. They're actually almost sweet. They're so delicious.
Okay. See, but it's the texture. Is the texture different?
You see, and this is the thing, is that the people who I know who don't like Avo don't like the texture. It's the texture that gets them.
Yeah, it gets you. It gets you. You see, I've got an Avo hookup, cousin Louis. He gets me prime Avos at good prices. Yeah, it's a whole racket.
I'm going to ask cousin Louis to hook me up there.
The lawyer's eyes are already on us. I don't want to get into that.
Avo espionage.
Imagine Tom Selleck's Avos, though. I'd handle the texture. Handle the texture. Imagine, I like to imagine, like in the morning, he just gets an Avo and just like cuts it over and just bites into it. He's got like Avo all over his moustache.
Or he's totally sick of Avo by now and he's like, no more Avos.
Probably. He was in early. He was doing Avos for like at least 12, 15 years before we were doing Avos.
I have had enough of the Avo. The Avo is done for me.
The Avos paid for this kingdom, but I hate them. Be gone with your Avos, but not that gone, because I like the money. I'm so sad this next story ended this way. I'm going to tell Richard Simmons passed away. This is terrible.
I know. Well, I mean, it happens to all of us.
I know, but Dori.
But yes, it was a shock and a surprise.
The comeback was imminent. We've been following Richard Simmons for a while. Thanks to Richard Simmons, we met the fantastic Dr. Phil Jaffe, because he was our Richard Simmons, the exercise guy of the 80s and 90s. And Richard Simmons comes back into our consciousness because Paulie Shaw wants to play him in a movie. Richard Simmons says, no, I'm not doing it, let alone you're not playing me. Then he pops up and kind of after years of living as a recluse, he comes back and he's in public. We played a little while ago this lovely message he put out to his fans. I think in that message denying that he was dead. Right? Yes. So he came, he came out a little.
And also just saying,
I'm still around.
I think he was just like, but he didn't say, I'm going to be coming back.
No, but positive message, all good. And then this weekend, we get the news that he had passed away on this past Saturday, if you're listening to the show as we release it. The medical examiner's office stated that his cause of death has since been deferred, meaning that an investigation and additional testing are needed. I've read elsewhere that he fell the day before, and it could have been related. But at this point, no cause of death has been given. His brother did post a message as well saying that his brother Richard was in a fantastic space. And just before this, he had done an interview with the People magazine in the US, kind of like a re-emergence interview, the first interview he had done in ages, and saying, it felt good to be turning 76. I'm grateful that I'm here, that I'm alive for another day. I'll spend my birthday doing what I do every day, which is to help people. And then this was 2 days before his death that he did this article for People magazine.
The fact that they mentioned that he fell, is this pertinent? Are they saying that someone might have pushed him?
Dori.
Are they saying that, he was a relatively fit, healthy guy. We don't know how he was in his later years, but like a fall should not do you in.
Dori, no, listen.
It nearly did me in, but that's another story.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I was not of the fitness level of Richard Simmons.
Okay, but you've got your age on your side. So your difference in age versus the fitness kind of like equals, right?
All right.
You're exactly like my wife. Maybe it's a woman thing, but I don't want to generalize. If somebody passes away, my wife always, she watches way too much true crime stuff. Something very fishy here. Very fishy. So 76-year-old man who is reclusive falls over and passes away from subsequent fall, allegedly. That's a more likely story than someone pushed him.
Well, unless, just allow me. We don't know. He didn't have kids, right?
No.
But he's had someone.
Not that it's publicized.
Not that we know of. He's had someone looking after him for quite a while he's been a recluse, probably the housekeeper who has been mentioned in these articles. The housekeeper is probably in the will, right? She might have just been like, I'm waiting. This is taking too long. I don't want to accuse unnecessarily, but I'm just saying we don't know. That's all I'm saying. We don't know.
Once again, we're in the realm of resources and reference articles between The Guardian and Made Up, okay? So what you're reading is from holla.com, which, as I understand, Holla is a very, very big tabloid. This is the English version of it. So Simmons reportedly felt dizzy before his fall and said he would maybe go to the doctor on Saturday. When he said he didn't want to go on his birthday, his housekeeper helped him back into bed. The next morning, she found him on the floor next to the bed.
Because she drugged him or poisoned him.
So, interesting enough, the fitness guru made mention of death in the interview. He read the audio he had just recorded that week. How do you deal with loss? It takes a toll on your heart. Some may shed tears. Others stare at the sky. It's so hard to say goodbye. Here's what I know is when it's time for us to go, a beautiful angel will greet us with a smile and a hello. Hours. I never expected it to go this way, Dori. But hours before his death, Simmons shared his last Facebook post, an old photo shoot of himself looking beautiful with makeup and eyes and gems in his eyes. Hello, gorgeous. Please don't rain on my parade, he wrote. His brother, he has a message from his brother. Lenny, I don't want people to be sad about my brother. I want them to remember him for the genuine joy and love he brought to people's lives. Please respect the family at this difficult time, Dori. Do not speculate that his housekeeper had anything mischievous to do with his passing. I think that falls into respect. Yes. Okay. Fine. I'm letting it go. Okay. Just remember when it all comes out that I told you so. That's all. That's all. People have been trying to pin it on Michael Jackson's housekeeper for years. Yeah. And get the housekeeper. Yeah. Look, here's what's going to be the tragedy, right? Because now passes suddenly, we assume he had his estate in order, that his life story and all was in order. I mean, Paulie Shaw's there. He's going, okay, this is a tragedy, but
can I get this now? Can I make this happen now?
Yeah. Is it public domain? What's the story? Is he Winnie the Pooh? Is there a loophole now?
What if there's something in Richard Simmons' will that says, I'm happy for a biopic to be made about my life as long as it's not Paulie Shaw?
If it is, trust us, you'll hear it here first. The story is not over.
Yeah.
The story is far from over. I'm so upset because it seemed like he was coming around to the idea to get back into public life and possibly, be in charge of his own biopic, which would have been phenomenal. It would have been like a fever dream, Richard Simmons directing his own biopic.
Yeah.
But very, very sad that he passed away. Also sad was Dr. Ruth, also another big 80s character.
And as I said, I didn't even know she was still around.
Yeah, we had killed off before.
She was 96 or something?
96 years old. Now, Dr. Ruth, if you don't remember, she pops up in the 80s. And we didn't get her too much in South Africa, but you knew of her.
She was on a TV show all the time that I used to see her on.
She was on something.
Not her own TV show.
Could she have been Phil Donahue?
I was about to say, I think it was Phil Donahue. It must have been Phil Donahue. Yeah. What else? What else did we watch in the 80s?
That's the only American talk show from the 80s we really got here. So I assume she was on there. But little old lady, she's always been old. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And she spoke about sex in a little accent. I wouldn't say the German accent isn't weird. Her voice was weird. It was odd. And she was a big character of the 80s. We don't speak about her too much on that 80s show because we thought she had passed away.
No.
Just assumed.
She was the original Esther Perel. Everybody knows Esther Perel now as the woman who talks about sex in a German accent or whatever. Although Esther Perel's French, I think. I don't know. European. Let's go with the European accent.
Yes.
But Dr. Ruth was the OG.
She was the OG. I would read you some of her sex tips from the Telegraph, but unfortunately I got to pay £25. And again, the gamut of our reference material.
I think that we should stay in our lane and not give sex tips on this show. Let's just talk about the 80s.
Dori, I know you've been getting back into the swing of things, getting back into work, socializing. You've been socializing yet?
A little bit.
You did. You said you went out the other day, yeah?
I did. I went out for the first time on the weekend. It was fantastic.
It's very scary when you go back out into the world after an injury, like we've been bedridden. Like you realize, especially like when it's like, in my case was a leg, in your case it's a back, it's an injury where your mobility's been affected. You realize how fast the world is. It's like, why is everyone so fast? Like, where are you going? Why is everything so high and so fast and so far?
Yeah, and I mean, I have been going to the Cairo regularly, and the building where I go to the Cairo, they're renovating the building.
Oh God.
Okay. And I'm like, okay, it's fine as long as the lift is working, because if the lift isn't working, I'm screwed. The Cairo's on the third floor. And it's like, there's no ways I can do stairs at this point in time. Just, it's not a chance, right? Funnily enough, the renovations closed off the stairs, but the lift was working. So we were good.
See.
But isn't that funny that they closed off the stairs? So people who are scared of lifts, sorry for you.
Screwed. Well, completely. You see, that's why we've not been able to record the show at our studio, because our studio is on the 4th floor.
Is it only the 4th? It feels like the 400th whenever I come there. It really does.
I think one day we're going to do a little social media video, post it up, so you can see these stairs we have to take. And at one of the floors is like a Nelson Mandela commemorative painting they must have done in an auction or whatever. And
when you see Nelson, you're almost at the top. I'm always like, yes, Nelson.
And it is. It goes. That was a short walk, but it is freedom, and I'm glad it's freedom of the stairs.
Long walk to the studio.
Oh my word! So that's why we have not been recorded. But Dori, I could set up a studio on the ground floor. But you're comfortable and you've been getting back into life. But have you been able to view anything of which you could recommend to the boys and girls?
I have, actually.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. In fact, that's all I've been able to do is watch non-stop Netflix. So yes, I have something from Netflix to recommend.
I think I've watched all of Netflix.
All of it, eh? You finished Netflix.
The algorithm is just not giving me new stuff anymore. It just keeps giving me Seinfeld and the 5 episodes of Better Call Saul that I can't bring myself to watch.
Oh, it's so good. You haven't watched Better Call Saul? In a way, it's better than Breaking Bad. Like, it's actually that good.
People say that.
Yeah.
People say that, Dori. It's so slow. It's so slow.
No, but you got to get into it. Dude, I started it and I gave up.
I did.
I gave up. And then a friend of mine said,
Dori,
go back. And I went back and I stuck with it. If you can get through the first 6-7 episodes, you're in. But those first,
I did.
Really? Because they are slow.
It moves slower than The Bold and the Beautiful. It's so slow.
I'm wondering if you've seen this particular show that I'm about to recommend that's on Netflix at the moment.
Okay. Let's hear about it.
The reason I'm talking about it is that it's set in 1985. And what I loved about it is that it's a very realistic 80s in that it's not very bright colors. It's kind of gritty. It's realistic in its portrayal, I think, especially it's set in New York City.
I've watched it. I know what you're talking about.
Are we talking about Eric?
We are talking about Eric. And I think that's one of the things whenever, we've got this, what we had a name for it, retro FOMO or something, or retro, like where we remember 80s different to what it was.
Yes.
Because the 80s was not bright at all. No. It was very brown and pale, like a terrible orange.
It was washed
not even
out,
vibrant
actually. It
orange.
was like slightly faded.
It was washed out.
Yeah.
Everything was brown and covered in plastic. It wasn't neon at all. No. Like Barbies were neon, but like nothing else was neon. Nothing.
A few people like me wore neon socks when we went out on Saturday nights.
Or like a neon wrist wallet. A neon wrist wallet, Yeah.
But it was there was not neon everywhere. It's true. It's true.
If the colors if you did have a pop of color, it was red. Like people who had red, this person's got red in their house. Look at red bracelets. Wow. Look at, so out there. She must be easy,
Yeah.
But it was brown, washed out, covered in plastic, and smelled a little bit. It was a weird smell.
It smelled like hairspray. I think
it smelled Brat hairspray.
So, what did you think of Eric?
So the story of Eric. Do you want to give the plot?
I can give the plot. The basic plot. I won't give too much away. Is that there's this guy. I'm going to say from the beginning, total dick, total asshole. Played by Benedict Cumberbatch, which you don't expect because even though he has, of course, Sherlock was also a bit of a dick. In this show, he's a different kind of asshole. And so he's incredibly unlikable. What would we call him? A creative who is responsible for this weird puppet kids TV show that's on TV. It's 1985. It's like Pumpkin Patch.
A Muppetish.
It's very Muppety, Pumpkin Patchy, if you want to relate it to South Africa. And he's a terrible father and a terrible husband. And due to his negligence, his son kind of goes missing. And he then embarks on this quest, let's call it, to try and find him with the help of, and this is where it becomes a little bit iffy, this creature that is definitely a figment of his imagination. But did you ever watch the show Happy? Did you ever watch Happy?
Exactly. So you'll see this in the trailer. We're giving nothing away because he gets to a point, as you watch a longer trailer, in that he goes, well, the only way I'm going to find my son is that it's not hinted at this in this way in the trailer, but the only way we're going to find my son, or the darkness, the weirdness is not hinted at, because he goes, my son loved this. My son and I were working on a puppet for the show. On a character, a new character for the show. Yeah, a new puppet. Yes, if I put this new character in the show, my son will see it and come back. But it doesn't hint that he's now going to start actually going on, like, lose his mind and go on the quest with this puppet. And see, and that this puppet has come to life and is talking to him, and exactly like Happy, which was also an incredibly dark show. Yeah. I mean, Happy was beyond dark, actually. Yeah. This was pretty dark, though. I did find it quite a disturbing show. But that being said, I did also, I don't know if you picked up a slight
I don't know if it was an intentional nod, but a bit of a nod to Beauty and the Beast, where there was this like underground city of people.
I saw,
like a whole different world.
It was that because, so not to give anything away, but yes, there is a community. It's the displaced. They move underground and they're living in the sewers.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, I was kind of thinking Ninja Turtles.
Okay, we have different frames of reference.
People living in the sewers in New York. I want to see Ninja Turtles. Yeah, sorry.
And I'm seeing Beauty and the Beast. Okay. So that's where we're different, but it's okay. Diversity is a wonderful thing. The soundtrack to this show, a lot of 70s music, which is cool because a lot of that music was still very popular in the 80s. I was very surprised to hear a song by our very own Rodriguez, The Cure, A Forest. Also, not their most mainstream song. So they like kind of went for the really obscure, unusual kind of tracks. Love and Affection by Joan Armatrading. This one was a biggie. Gloria, Laura Branigan.
I knew you were going to get to that. And I was wondering how you're going to frame it. And it seems like you're just going to gloss it over, right?
Okay, please, I'll hand over to you, please.
Okay. Now, I did post this actual clip. It was doing the rounds. It was on the official Netflix account, so don't at me for spoilers. And it said Benedict Cumberbatch and Eric understood the assignment. Because this is the part where Eric was the dad, or was Eric the kid?
Eric was the creature.
Eric's the creature, right?
Yes, so Eric's the creature.
Benedict Cumberbatch's character, it's at this point where he's absolutely lost it. He's lost his child. Everyone's blaming him for it. His mini empire is crashing down. Everything. He decides to go out to a disco club with Eric. And they're taking cocaine and they're doing the drugs, and is the most fantastic dance scene to Gloria. Like, it is the only color in the whole movie. It's the only colorful scene. And you're like, unless you are dancing up with your coked up imaginary friend to Gloria, you're not allowed dancing to Gloria ever again. That is the only way you can dance to Gloria from now on. Coked up with your imaginary monster friend.
The next episode gives us The Killing Moon and Tupelo by Nick Cave.
I thought of you when I heard The Killing Moon straight away. I was like, oh, Dori, I'm going to love this.
I always think of me when I hear The Killing Moon.
Yeah.
Because why do I think of me?
Because
it's one of the main songs from Donnie Darko. You know that whole thing about how movies own songs. Donnie Darko owns that song, but it was great. It was cool. It's fine. We'll lend it to you, Eric. We'll lend it. It's fine.
Eric, Benedict Cumberbatch, he's always a dick. Even as Doctor Strange is a dick.
I only watched that. Oh, I watched that longer. I don't do those movies,
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. He plays the dick very well, and I'm wondering what he's like in real life. But probably not nearly as mean and horrible as his characters.
I think it's pretty close. I think it is pretty close. Now, what we wanted to do this week is something we seldom do, where Dori and I watch the same movie and we talk about it. And in this case, in Eric, we both watched it so we could regale and we understood. And I feel we've been doing, had a little bit of a sick leave, and now we're back and we've kind of been doing good. I've got so many shit movies lined up, Dori. It's actually going to make your eyes bleed, the movies I have. Like, I got so many terrible movies. Like, it's, I mean, honestly, okay, but I'm going to give you a good one, but just know there is so much. Actually, this one, I don't know if I'm going to, because actually what I'm going to tell you what I watched actually reminded me of a lot of very good stuff. But anyway, let's get into it. So I tried to get you to watch Brat, right? Which is, we've been talking about it for ages. It's directed by Andrew McCarthy, and it's about the Brat Pack. Okay, he wrote a book. He wrote a book years ago, and now he decided to do a documentary. And it's currently out on Inside.
And I still haven't got around to watching it, and I totally missed the opportunity that you gave me to watch it. But I will make a plan. I will make a plan to see it.
Other than come and stand on your lawn in a trench coat, okay, with a laptop and holding it above my head, okay, and playing it to you through your bedroom window, okay, I did everything I could to help you watch this movie. But you decided, oh no, it's 7:30, I'm going to have a nap. So Dori, you're not a cat. You don't have a nap at 7:30, you go to bed. Okay, but anyway, that's a WhatsApp conversation for another day. So, Brat, directed by Andrew McCarthy, and it's now the story of the Brat Pack, but not like a this happened, then this happened, then this happened. This is kind of like an exploration of the impact being called the Brat Pack had on the lives of, well, the members of the Brat Pack, which, this is quite a funny scene. So, because we always mention the Brat Pack, right? Emilio Estevez,
Yes.
Ali Sheedy, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, kind of the cast of St. Elmo's Fire. Let's put it that way. Pretty much the cast of St. Elmo's Fire was traditionally known as the Brat Pack, right? So
yes.
We call them that. We kind of, oh, Brat Pack, whatever. But to understand how much they actually hated it. So I never realized how much they actually hated being called the Brat Pack at the time. Were you aware of that?
No, I wasn't aware of it as such, but it's not the greatest name. You know, it's not like a very positive name.
So how it came about, there was a journalist who did a story on them, because suddenly you have this rise. So it's such an amazing thing. And Dori, as I was watching it, I kept sending you messages, Dori, you've got to watch this, because you want to talk about soundtrack.
I know.
You want to talk about like I mean, it is unreal. It's a time capsule, and they just talk about like, and it puts so succinctly why we've got this fascination with the 80s, because it was actually the first time in modern American cinema, or modern cinema, where the movies were made for young people playing young people. So everyone had this reference point, and they go to talk to John Cryer, and even Rob Lowe mentions this, of going like, so many people with so many of the characters across all these John Hughes movies and the Brat Pack movies, of everyone identified with somebody. I was a ducky, or I was this. And you lived your life through that lens, and over time you've forgotten actually what you were like, but you think because I was a ducky that, oh, I was, because you've seen it more times. And they just talk about this thing of like, everyone watching the same movie at the same time. Everybody coming to school on the Monday.
True.
We don't have that anymore. Other than sport.
No.
That doesn't exist, right? So there's a lot of that. So you have it starting off. So this journalist goes, you have this rise in a whole bunch of actors starring in movies together. They're all good looking. They're all young. They're all very good actors. He writes an article about it. And he comes out and titles them the Brat Pack, right?
Why?
Now, he thought he was quite clever.
Okay, why did he call them that?
Because he was playing on the Rat Pack.
And they're young, so they're brats.
Right, because, so he explains, because he thought he was clever, because he goes, okay, well, old Hollywood was the Rat Pack and new Hollywood is the Brat Pack. And Emilio Estevez says, the day he spent with us was myself, Rob Lowe, and I can't remember who was the third one, plus this journalist, they go out. And he said they weren't particularly acting like brats. They were just 20 years old, being treated like stars and with a lot of money and a lot of attention. And they don't think they did anything wrong that day, but he obviously sees this behavior and thinks, haha, this is funny. I'm a clever journalist, a columnist. I'm going to call these guys the Brat Pack. And there's so many interviews that they show of the time of all of them, Andrew McCarthy, Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe. They're on the Phil Donahue show going like, why did you call us that? Like, it gives a total wrong perception of us to Hollywood. Like, maybe it plays for like, the teenage magazines or whatever, but in Hollywood, people are going, ooh, I heard you guys are difficult. And they go, we're not difficult at all. But
well, Charlie Sheen probably was, right?
So then they start getting into who was in the Brat Pack. And there's this brilliant part, right, like kind of in the middle, where they're going, okay, who was in the Brat Pack? And then they start, well, were you in the Brat Pack? No, I was Brat Pack adjacent. And then they cut to go, well, was Tom Cruise in the Brat Pack? Because he was in the Outsiders, and two of the Brat Pack were in the Outsiders. So was Charlie Sheen in the Brat Pack because he's Emilio Estevez's brother? So it's quite a funny little
I think
scene.
The Outsiders is part of a Venn diagram.
Exactly.
With St. Elmo's Fire. There's some overlap.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of overlap. Molly Ringwald did not want to be in it. She says, I'm not going to be it. They talk about it. There's an elusive hunt for Judd Nelson, who kept ignoring Andrew McCarthy's calls. Wouldn't pick up the phone. Now, we're in production. We know how these things work. We know what he's doing. But it's a great like kind of running kind of theme where he keeps missing Judd Nelson's call, or Judd Nelson, very good. Malcolm Gladwell's in it. He talks about, he's the one who talks about the pop culture, and kind of like identifying with certain people. They go to everyone's beautiful houses in the mountains, Dori. Oh my God, like these people, just their houses are just ridiculous. It's compound interest that is royalties for years and years and years. But then he gets to Rob Lowe. Andrew McCarthy's deeply affected by being called Brat Pack. He says changed his whole career. He said, like, he just could not get over being called that. Emilio Estevez, as well, they speak to him now, a lot of baggage about it. Doesn't like it, doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to be associated with it. I read this week that they're trying to get Young Guns 3 made, the cowboy movie that was kind of like the Brat Pack cowboy movie.
God. Yeah.
Emilio Estevez it's being delayed because Emilio Estevez doesn't want to be part of it. Because like, I don't want anything that draws mine to Brat Pack. That's also why Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson kind of like kept turning this down, because I said, we're past that. We're done. We don't want to be part of anything that relates to that. So then he goes and he tracks down, he gets to Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe in his beautiful mountain estate. I mean,
yes.
Rob Lowe. You know, Rob Lowe is so good looking now. My God, he was super good looking in the 80s. Why did men keep being made after that? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. I was very aware of Rob Lowe in the 80s, but especially when he had that slightly longer hair.
Yes.
You know, because he had the short hair in some of the movies, but then when the hair got a little bit longer, a little bit more 80s looking, and the earring, he had the earring.
Oh, yeah. There's one part, earring, denim jacket with the collar turned up, white shirt. I mean, just stop making men after that. Just go, that's perfect. I can't. That's the best. That's the best we're going to make. So it's just.
And he has aged so fantastically. Like, he still looks freaking amazing.
Demi Moore says, you know, she goes, so Demi Moore wasn't Brat Pack, but she was kind of saying Elmo's fine. She was like, I never saw it that way. She said, that wasn't my title for myself. That was some other person I've never met's title for myself. When he gets to Rob Lowe, you know, Rob Lowe's been through some shit. Rob Lowe is like this little beautiful Yoda in his in his interpretation of everything, in his understanding of the career he's had, in his understanding of the media industry, and his understanding of fandom. And he's so calm, and he's so just zen, you know, and just goes, you know, and he's like, oh, you're just like a beautiful Yoda. And Andrew McCarthy's just like, oh, I'm Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. And then he just imparts his knowledge while sitting on a little high bar stool with, you know, beautiful mountain backdrop, you know, chiseled with mountain peaks as chiseled as his cheeks.
You're so poetic.
I really like Rob Lowe. But Rob Lowe, like, just takes, it's kind of a moment of where Rob Lowe has, like, just gut punched Andrew McCarthy for, you have whinged for 40 years. You've wasted your whole career. This is how you should have seen it, because this is the way to see it. Look at me. I'm huge. I've had look, Rob Lowe's never as big as I think he could have been, but I don't think it's because of the Brat Pack that kind of like people backed off him. I think, but he's made a really good career for himself. But he's really got this real good like understanding that he just imparts on Andrew McCarthy. And it's like very cathartic. Andrew Cathartic.
Andrew Mc-thartic.
Anyway, it's fantastic. I'm so sorry you missed it. You have to wait till I have Disney Plus again.
No, I will make a plan. The internet is a wonderful thing. I will make a plan.
There's an unseen interview with John Hughes, and there's some like there's some personal like home video stuff. You'll love that stuff. You'll love the soundtrack. They also speak to the journalist who wrote the article.
Cool.
They track him down and talk to him, so there's kind of like a little bit of closure. But it's fantastic. It's called Brat. It's on Hulu if you're overseas, or Disney Plus if you're local. Really good. Give it a watch. The music, everything. Dori. I don't even with you having naps at 7:30. I don't know what to do.
I'm so terrible. I can't believe I missed it. Anyway, it's fine. Fine. We will endeavor.
I got another piece that I need to cover back on from last week's show. We spoke about the Thompson twins video game.
Yep.
I did say I'd come back to you with video game themes, or like video games based on like if other 80s people released video games, because Thompson twins, for the single of Dr. Doctor, they released a promotional video game, which was like by all accounts terrible. And I did think, okay, well, what other games could we do? But once I kind of did a Escape from Pike Island Club Tropicana video game, that's just the best. Like, it's just the best thing. I'll never better that. So I'm not even going to try to do
Well, I came up with a couple.
Oh, did you? Ooh, who do you clicking your keyboard there. Yes. Oh, Dori, so
they're not amazing. I'm not a gamer.
Okay.
So they're not amazing.
But listen, this Thompson Twins video game wasn't made by a gamer. Basically what it is, you're the three members of the Thompson Twins, and you have to go to different settings like a jungle and space and desert, I don't know, and find ingredients so you can take it back to the doctor, and he can make a potion, which cures your love.
Right.
Okay, so that was the Thompson video game. What else do you have?
Of course, the first thing that came to mind, and I did mention it last week, was Safety Dance, because it's one of the most bizarre videos, right? And it kind of lends itself to the video game. These people look like the video starts with, it looks like they're going on a journey. It's a quest. Okay. It's a journey. It's and they have to gather people, and then they end up having this huge weird party. So you have a video game where there's a quest. There is a little person in the video. So, that's maybe you have to find all the little people, and then you get points. And then it's like a dance-off type thing, but in medieval times.
That's good, because that's the music video. That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good. Is there
because they're all dancing around. So, but it's so you dance off against your competitors. But you have to have all the right. You have to have the costume, and you have to have your little person dancing with you, and all that stuff. And of course, fair maidens.
Of course, buxomy. Are there increasing levels of medieval bosses that you have to defeat? So on the first level, it's like you just have to dance against like the court jester, and then it's like a knight, and then it's like an ogre, and then it's like...
See, there you go.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a great idea.
Brainstorm.
We could collab on this.
Brainstorm.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, good.
I then was trying to come up with a Miami Vice video, but guess what? One already exists.
Yeah, it does.
A video game.
It does.
One already
Found
exists.
It as well.
Yeah. It was really like... They had terrible reviews.
You see, listen, I'll tell you something right now. Pretty much if it was a TV show, there was a video game on it. Not a good one, but they were like, well, listen, we got this thing called video games. People like the TV show. I'm telling you, there's even a Who's the Boss video game. There has to be. But Action, Rambo, Miami Vice, Magnum, MacGyver, all of them got video games. All of them. And I played them.
Of course you have. That's me. I mean, I did have other ideas, but they're not that great. So
I was trying to think of the best I did was a interactive board game for the 80s. So do you remember the 80s? I don't know if you ever had it. There was this video game system where you got a VHS cassette and you put it in your video machine, and you got two guns, and you'd shoot at like aliens. There was like an aliens one. It wasn't the Nintendo one. It was like a video game.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
I didn't have it, but I had a friend who had it. I was aware of it.
Yeah. So people,
I know it.
How does this work? This is amazing, whatever. And then some people will tell you, no, well, because the little laser pointer on the gun interacts with the little electrodes or some shit in the tube in the TV, and that's how it reads it. Whereas like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that if you watch that video without firing, exactly the same thing's going to happen whether you fire it or not. I'm telling you, that thing's just a loop of like 100 different scenes, and no matter what you do. But anyway, I've still not proven right. So I thought of an interactive version like that, but musical chairs, the Milli Vanilli version.
Oh God!
So you get Milli Vanilli music videos, right. Okay, and where you can spot them lip syncing, you got to sit, and then. So that's kind of as far as I got. Anyway.
I kind of like it. I do. It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
You get to watch Milli Vanilli. I mean, yeah, not bad. So I want to explain how the Thompson Twins game worked. I found out, right? It came on a vinyl record, and it came with a video game magazine as a freebie. Definitely a freebie for me. And we were like, it was either put in the Commodore 64 and the ZX Spectrum. And I was like, how did that work? Because
yes, and I asked my husband how it worked.
Okay, what did you find out?
So he said there was literally a place where you could put like a 7 single, those small records.
Okay.
He said there was a thing in those computers that you could put that in and it would play it. But it was only, he said it was made for like actually playing music, and it would play the audio of it. But he said obviously there was like a thing that would work to make the video game work as well. But he said there was a thing for, like you have like a CD disc thing in those older computers.
Yeah.
There was one for a record.
Well,
there was literally a thing for it, like a tray.
What I found out how this one worked in this case, and maybe it was on the specific models.
Yeah.
You had to record the vinyl because Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum, you played games off cassette tapes.
Yeah.
You had to record the vinyl onto a cassette tape and then put that cassette tape in the console.
That would make sense as well. Maybe that's correct. Maybe my husband is remembering wrong.
No, because there's another one where if you plugged the headphone jack while you're playing that vinyl, and you plugged the headphone jack into the headphone jack of the Commodore 64 and played it at the right volume, the game would start playing. Which, I read that, and as I say, it sounds like the biggest load of shit ever. What am I talking about? Because they're explaining, they say you put the vinyl on a record player, you play it, it makes a weird sound. Then you put your headphones, and the headphones hears it and starts playing. What the hell?
I don't know, dude. You've lost me. You've lost me. That's all I'm going to say. You've lost me.
Your husband's version and the first version put on a cassette makes way more sense. That sounds like nonsense.
Way more sense, yes.
Way more sense. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's wrapping up from last week. It's one person I never wondered. We often go, I wonder whatever happened to that person. I wonder whatever happened. Whatever happened to him? Whatever happened to her? It's one person I've never, ever, ever wondered what happened to this person. Like literally ever. Literally ever. Is the girl who played the Empress in the Neverending Story.
Wow. Me neither.
All right? Right?
Me neither.
We're always talking about the Neverending Story. We're always talking about it.
Yeah.
Right?
But wasn't she in it for 3 minutes?
Well, she was so key to it. I mean, the whole thing was about her, right? They had to free her.
Yeah, but you don't actually see her a lot in the movie.
She's so quick. Yeah, but you go, geez, because we always talk about Neverending Story. We've spoken about the guy who played like the main kid, who we know is a filmmaker because he contacted somebody I know about making a film together. The kid who played Atreu, we've spoken about him. He pops up now and again. We even know what happened to Falcor. We even know that the Rock Eater, he converted to, he's a Scientologist. We know what happened to everybody.
Right.
In the Neverending Story. Never wondered what happened to the Empress, but she's popped up.
Okay.
She popped up this week.
What is her name even?
Tami Stronach. She's now doing a new fantasy movie. She said it was a happy place. She loved acting. It was fantastic being in the Neverending Story. But what happened is...
So what, has she not done anything since the Neverending Story?
No, because she got offered a lot of parts and her family weren't a Hollywood family. Her parents were archaeologists and they were running her career.
Okay.
So, of course, now she's in this massive movie. People go, right, we want you to be a star. And they keep bringing her movies. She said she started feeling she was getting movies that weren't child appropriate. And she said the whole, there was definitely a sense of, and her parents are doctors. I mean, archaeologists. I mean, they're bright people.
Yeah.
They just felt that Hollywood is not a place this is not a safe space for a kid. Right?
Okay.
And they just said that the pitfalls at the time were just too great. And she talks, obviously, I mean, so many child stars, so many things go wrong with them. And she said the most challenging thing for her is suddenly stalkers started appearing and started becoming a real problem for them.
Huh.
She felt that the content she was getting was too adult, and she's like, her and parents just like, we're out, we're done, we're not going to do this, right?
So what did she do with her life until now?
She started a dance company called the Tami Stronach Dance Company. Okay, so she stayed in the arts.
Alrighty.
And then she always loved fantasy movies, and she said, the one thing that triggered her was obviously in the Stranger Things. They play the Neverending Story, and just suddenly the song becomes big, and people are now wondering where she is. She obviously she regularly goes to Comic Cons. Fans are still like, oh, cool, we want to see you.
Okay.
But she's always loved the whole thing about fantasy movies. So in the 80s, obviously not just Neverending Story, we had Willow, we had Labyrinth, and she's now made her own. She's back starring in a fantasy movie called Man and Witch: The Dance of a Thousand Steps.
Oh God, is it a dancing movie?
There is a trailer that I haven't watched, okay? But what I do want to tell you is, listen, this isn't just like some Hallmark movie. Now, the movie's made, her husband's a writer, so it's his movie, right? Listen to some of the other people that got involved in this. It stars Sean Astin from, we know Sean Astin, a lot of stuff, Lord of the Rings. He voices a dog. Christopher Lloyd's in it.
Cool. That's cool.
Jennifer Saunders. Absolutely fabulous.
Yes, absolutely fabulous.
And Susie Eddie Izzard is in it as a sheep, as well as a Father Ted star, Pauline McClinton. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I love her.
I
love her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is not a bad cast.
No, that's not a bad cast at all. That's made me more interested in watching it, I have to say.
And then to come full circle, her 10-year-old daughter is in the movie as well.
Does the daughter look like she looked like in Neverending Story? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
She's dressed as she looks like a little bit of a Cupid-y, elfin type character. So it's quite difficult to see. I can't really make out. But listen, that's avoiding the pitfalls of being a child star. We always talk about child stars. It's called The Man and Witch. Man and Witch, comes out in cinemas this week, next week. And then, of course, we'll be out and streaming the week after because that's the way it works now.
I'll keep an eye out. Let me know if you find it anywhere.
It's something you got to put on. It's going to have nice nostalgia value. That is not a bad cast. And, it seems like she's doing it for the right reasons, not because she just wants to get back into the public. Because if she did, she would be on like Dancing of the Stars or Dancing on Ice or some shit like that. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's it. From a person I never wondered where they went, it's good to know where they are.
Now we know.
So everything that you heard on that 80 show will be on that 80 show SA Facebook page. Don't forget, please vote for us. I hope you heard something today. Dori, do you think we gave something today? People go, I wasn't sure. I was going to vote for one of the other shows, but you guys convinced me today. I was just hovering. I was waiting for you guys to sign off. I was just hovering to click on something else.
Just thinking, well, I won't I?
I know who's our biggest competition. I do.
Does it begin with an S?
Yeah. It's the same one we're talking about.
We're definitely talking about the same one. I know that's our biggest competition.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be because we got fans like you. Fans like all of you who are going to make sure that we stay number one.
You want to keep the 80s around, damn it.
We do.
Vote for us.
We do. We do. Or we might just have to stop the whole thing if we don't win. If we don't win, we stop. No, bullshit.
No, don't say that.
We're never going to do that, Dori. Thank you.
In advance.
Oh, me, never. I'm a very gracious, I'm a terrible loser. I hate losing. I'll take people out at the knees if I lose. Terrible. No, but don't. It's just an honor being nominated. That's right.
Yes, right.
There's been that 80 show. So many fantastic things we spoke about. We will get Dori to watch Brat's. Even if you watch Brat's about the toy line, those terrible dolls, those over-sexualized dolls. No.
Those are scary. No. They're very scary.
Okay. No. They are scary. We found out the true story behind Tom Selleck's Avos, and Dori has started speculating about Richard Simmons' death. Hey,
yes.
Who knows? We expect prompt reply. Thanks for climbing out of your deathbed, Dori, and joining me.
It's extreme. Bye.
Vote for us or Dori dies.